instead of calling this as a keynote speech, I would like you to take it as a key for your life. I talk about good person, right? We talk about good person. You have to be a good person. And then I said, now what the hell is a good person, How do you define a good person? And so I tried to define it, and I said, okay, let's think about it. And based on my experience and my teaching and my readings, I said, and this is easy to remember, It's EFGHHL. EFGHHL. Now you can guess. E. Any guesses? Empathy. What is empathy? Empathy is being in others' shoes to understand him or her fully. Without empathy, you cannot be a good person. F. What is F? Forgiveness. Forgiveness is giving a second chance to a person to right the wrong the person has done to you. So many times, the persons may not have an intention to hurt you, but you need to give a chance. Forgiveness has to be an integral part of being a good human being. So that's F. What's G? Giving. You ought to give. Don't be miserly, don't be conjuice. And giving doesn't have to be giving in terms of money. Giving your time. The person who has the knowledge to share that knowledge also is giving. And without giving, there is no. Without giving, you cannot receive. So if you want to receive, you also give. So giving is very important. EFG, H. Honesty. Honesty is the very, what you call the inner fiber, the character. Opportunistic is not what we want. We want honesty and sincerity. Honesty is the very fiber or the character of the person, and everything else binds around that. And it's important that you are honest. Then my initial formula had only one H and then L. But somebody else suggested, no, there has to be one more H. And I kind of agreed to, thought about it. And it's a humor. So humor became a component that was suggested to me by somebody else. But without humor, think about it, without humor, how can he be a good person? Humor has to be part of it. That's liveliness. Okay, so E, F, G, H, H, L. What's L? Love. And don't think love just between a boy and a girl, or your love, that many of you would have. But think of love. Think of love as coexistence. What we have in our Sanatana Dharma. In the Hinduism, Sanatana, to be in coexistence with all forms of life. That is what I'm talking about. Respect for each other. And it also includes love between two individuals, definitely. I'm not trying to rule that out. But love in the larger sense of coexistence with each other, with the nature, environment, whatever, and yourself and human beings. When you put a composite index of E, F, G, H, H, L, you become a good person. I am a fatalist, okay? And I say this quite openly. I'm a fatalist because I believe in the work, but not in the outcome. I do not feel miserable if the outcome does not go the way I would wanted it. I do my best. And if my best is not good enough, I just shrug like this and I said, Khache Siddhi, to myself. It's not meant to be. And so that gives me the key to happiness. So you do your best, but your best is not good enough. So there is providence. There is somewhere something is, after 20 years, when you look back, I said, that happened to me then. I felt miserable, but this is where I am now. So always look from the life, in your life, look from that perspective of trying to be happy. You have to be happy. In my opinion, the objective of life is to be happy. And what's happy? What's happiness? It's a cumulative sense of satisfaction. You have to be able to manage satisfactions because satisfactions are based on needs. When needs are not fulfilled, you are frustrated. But that frustration has to be factored into a response way so that you are much more at peace with yourself. And with fatalism, when I say fatalism, in the sense, the way I have defined it, it helps you. When I talk to my students, I always tell them, things start at home. You as young children, if you don't think of your parents, Your parents may not be right all the time, but you have to understand where they are coming from. And empathy would help you to understand, someone coming home at 12 midnight, the parents would not have the guts to do it, because the minute he or she speaks to you as kids, as children, you would be so violent in your reaction that parents would dread that. They don't want a conflict, but they would not sleep until you get home. In many households, I know that. They will keep quiet about it. So think of it from the other side. And that is also useful in your exam giving or exam taking. If you write the answers the way the teacher wants it, you are better prepared. It makes no sense how much you write. But if you think, what is that the teacher wants or examiner is looking for in this answer sheet, and look from that point of view, you are already better placed to do it. I sat for an exam, for a job interview, and there was one question which there was no answer. I mean, I had scouted the internet, everything, there was no answer. And I just wrote, based on the information I have, this question cannot be answered. Full stop. Now I could get a 0 point on that, and I could get a good point, but luckily that itself stirred a controversy. Are we asking a question, that for which we have not provided the information? So anyway, so that kind of an accept of looking at things from the other's perspective. We can be very nice with others, but if we are not nice with our family, with our siblings, with our parents, it's not being nice at all. So a couple of messages here, right? And these are, I hope, are keys to your life. If being a good person, it makes your life better. It leads you towards more satisfaction and more happiness. But start things at home. Because if you can change the home environment, it's difficult to do it intergenerational. We can always say generation gap. But somebody has to put in the effort. And respect the old people. I think our society increasingly becomes selfish. Grandchildren are being told that the parents don't care about their parents. They see examples of this. Our society has survived on this interdependence, in this family thing. Of course, everybody put chips in. Your children are looked after by your grandparents, and you were looked after by your grandparents. So there is a dependency factor. Maintain this. Not to say that you can't go in life and do things on your own. I think people are now, as they acquire more education, that there is a tendency of allowing such things. I grew up, my sisters didn't get the same advantage that we got as sons. Now that's not the case. Things are changing. But respect to the elders has to be must, and start it at home. Being a good person, start being a good person at home. And that's my message to you. That's my key that I would like to extend to you. Thank you very much.